Hi, everyone. We are sorry for the delay. We just want to make sure that we have solid understanding of what will be taught today. That's the reason why um, we make sure that we have a practicing environment, not just to be talking about scripting. For those of us who are developers, you can be watching, you can be in a workshop where they talk about scripting or programming, and all you do is just talking about theory. You are not writing anything. You are not practicing anything. I don't think that will sink. So by the way of introduction, my name is Ajadi Tunde. I'm a software developer, and I'm also a Linux engineer. I've been doing this for almost 7 years, and I also count the privilege to be here, to be able to share with you my wealth of experience, and so that I also become proficient in shell and scripting. So during the course of this workshop, if you have any question, please do not hesitate to ask. And I also hope it's going to be interactive, just like the previous session. But before I proceed, I'd like to ask a question. I'd like to know the number that if you are a software developer, you can please signify. Okay, what of network engineer? Because you will find it useful. The reason why I need to know so that I will know where to start. You understand? And also, who else can we ask in the house? System administrators? Okay. And the researchers too. That's very important. Okay. Then lastly, I also ask if you use a Linux operating system before. How many? Okay, I think we have a good number. But currently, we have those using Linux operating system. Okay. Okay, there's one person here. Where? Oh. So what we're talking about is the shell scripting. I don't know if anyone has heard the word before, shell. In this context, shell scripting. Okay, how many of us have heard the word Docker before? Okay, good. What of Kubernetes? And I know you must have heard the same thing too. So there's no way you'll be doing something around Docker and Kubernetes in which you will not have experience around this shell scripting. You will still need basic knowledge to be able to, maybe you write an application and you want to, like the term they used to use, say we Dockerize the applications. We were talking about kernel, although I couldn't get anyone to tell me about the shell. We're talking about kernel, shell, process, and redirector pipes and filters. Why do we need shell scripting? Or why do we need shell script? Let me give you an instance. I happen to be managing clusters of servers for a client, and similar to the one we've been using in cloud. Then one of the servers continues to shut down, and I don't know the reason why it keeps shutting down. And there's no log. For those of us that are administrators, system administrator, you are used to checking logs to know what is happening. At least that's to give you a clue to what is wrong with the system. But it keeps shutting down, and I don't know what to do. So my bailout is to use a shell script that in case this shuts down again, it should start this for me. Even though I can't find out reason why the application keeps shutting down. The application is running, it's being managed by Apache. Quite a number of us know about Apache as a web server. That one works. And for Apache, it has this, for a developer now, there's something called status code. That if you load an application, there's something for those of us that have developed API before, you have a status code of 200, you have status code of 201. There are so many. So since I can't track what is happening, I have to check the status code of the a browser. If you open your browser now to any page, and if you right click, I think inspect element or something. Open, you can just try now. Open your browser, then right click on any page. You will see something like inspect element, where you will see what is actually going on with the page. You will see what is going on in the background. You will see the status code there. So I have to track the status code for me to know. I have to write a shell script that will check the status code. If I can't get it 200, that means it should go and restart the server for me. You can see the bailout now. I'm just giving instances where you will need a shell script. Although it's similar to, you must have heard of Python and Java, JavaScript. And it's good for us now. Almost all of them, they are doing the same thing. But the reason why shell is good because it's the native language of Linux operating system. That's the reason why. You can equally do what I'm doing now with the shell. You can do with Python. I hope you understand. Now, shell scripts provide a powerful tool for system administrators, developers, and power users who want to automate tasks, customize their system, or streamline their workflow. If I'm to summarize, it tells me to automate my boring stuff, maybe automate my daily tasks. That is what it does for me. Like, you want to do a frequent backup, you can schedule a backup. Okay, this should be doing it for me. You want to do maybe an installation, you can write a shell script that will do installation for you. You want to combine many applications together instead of one, like you are doing an integration. You are combining many applications, like 10 to 5 applications. You can use the shell script to coordinate the installation. What is kernel? It manages resources of Linux operating system. Resource means facilities available in Linux, and it decides who uses the resource for how long and when. It also performs following tasks: input and output management, process management, device management, file management, and memory management. Now, what is Linux Shell? It's a special program that accepts instruction or command in English and translates into native language. You know, for you to interact with the kernel, the native language that they understand is the binary, 1 and 0. So the shell will interpret it for you. You understand? It's not easy for you to read and write in native binary language. It's very, very difficult. I've heard some people that say, I can understand binary. Then it must be very good. Then shell is a command language interpreter that executes commands read from the standard input device, keyboard, or from a file. You will notice this word, standard input. And they are called file descriptor under Linux. We have 3 types of file descriptor, although recently I discovered that there are even more. But based on my experience, I only know of 3. We have standard input, standard output, and standard error. When we get to other sessions, you see, you keep seeing this word, input device. And input on Linux system, it could be what? Keyboard or a file. Then we have many shells. We have an example like an SH, corn shell, C shell, bash. But the one that is most common is called bash. It's just an abbreviation for born again shell. That's why they call it. They took B, A, and then shell. They call it bash. Now, these are some of the commands if you've used Linux before, like ls, mv, pwd. So I would prefer us to be interactive now. So if somebody can tell me what ls means, at least it's almost the same. You see similar thing using window. Yeah, good. List, move, no? Present working directory. And date, and who. Like somebody who logs in, if I log in, I want to know who am I. Because you may think I log in with my name is Olatunde, but I want to be sure that my name is Olatunde when I log in. So if you type the command who, it will show exactly who you are. Not just only you, it will show other people who are logging. You know, Linux is multi-user operating system. Several people can log in. So if you want to know somebody, okay, now I'm working, I have a terminal, I think I'm the only one working. Whereas you are not the only one working. This is what you experience when you log into the cloud. So many people log into the same machine, but you are not aware. Even though everything is isolated. Then CAT. You get to use, we'll use more of this. We'll use more. I don't want to ask questions. Maybe somebody can answer me what CAT is. Yeah, good. Then what of more? More is like, instead of you using CAT, like I want to read the content of a file. If you use CAT, it will display the entire thing to the point that you have to scroll up and down. But if you use more, it will make sure according to the size of your screen. You understand? So if you want to see it, like paging it for you, you understand? So when you press, I think, tab or space, it will move to the next page. Then less is almost like more too. Instead of me using CAT to display the document, I can use less. Then RM. That should sound familiar. Good, remove. Then CH mode. Yeah. You will deal with permissions. You are not going to write a script that will just automatically execute on Linux operating system. It doesn't just execute just like that, no. And it's the same reason why many people prefer Linux, because nothing just executes on its own. You have to give it permission to execute. So change mode will allow me to do this. I can say change the mode to read only, change mode to read write only, change mode to read write and then execute. Then WC, word count. Maybe you open a document and then you want to count the length of those number of lines in that document. This one will give you. These are just few. And then tail. I use tail to read the document. Maybe I can read document from the beginning to the end, or from the end to the beginning. And if I want to read maybe a live display of log, just like you were asking a question the other time about the SSO, some events are happening. You can't leave it alone to the administrator. Like they have to keep checking the log. So they have to see what is happening real time. So I can use this kind of command for me to see what is happening. As it keep happening, you keep seeing it. Before you even log into the file, you see who is logging, all the activities going on. Although, if you have too many people, it might be too much for you to read. You understand? These are just few. But just for you to know that, you have to know few things like this before you can write shell. Because shell is just command. Like, I want to combine this one with this one and say, okay, list for me. After you list for me, move this thing for me. Okay, if you move it for me, am I in the present working directory? Do you understand? I can combine three of these to make a shell script. Do you understand? Okay, I can check, okay, I'm in a particular directory. I say, okay, check present working directory for me if it's equal to this. If not, then this is another one, date. Like I want to create a file and also attach date to it. I don't want to be writing create a file. Creating a file is mkdir. And I create a file, I give it a name. I also want to attach the date to it. I can just put the name of the file and then right close to it, you can put this is a command, this date. It will attach date to it. You understand? And the good thing is that it's not going to show the same thing. Even if I write it 10 times, you know, the time on operating system is in, I think it's nanoseconds, or microseconds. So you always have different name. You always have different name. You understand? Now, what is a process? There's no way you will write a script without being attached to a process. The reason being that, should anything happen, I want to be able to kill it or be able to restart it. Do you understand? But the moment the process starts, it's given an ID. An ID is always within the range of what? 0 to this number. So every time you issue a command, just like, even if I just mir ls, it has process ID. Do you understand? Just anything you do, they all have process ID. Now, this is something called, I don't know if you ever open any file, see something like this. You open some file, you'll be like, you can't even interpret what's this one doing, what they are calling a redirector symbol. Like this one now, if I'm writing to a file, it will overwrite everything that is in that file and just write into it. But if I use this one, I don't want to go to this one now. If I use this one means append to the file. This one means append. It will append to whatever exists in that file. But this one is like I'm getting input from somewhere. This is like a standard input redirect. You will see several ways which I can use this. We'll soon get to it. Pipe. I think before I proceed further, let me just switch to Linux terminal, because I think it will be very interesting if we go along with the terminal to not just talking about it, because many of us have not even seen Linux terminal before. Please help me. Okay. Can we enlarge it? I think settings. Settings are there. Change settings. We want to increase the font size. Out of the keyboard. And okay, appearance. Appearance is not. Yeah. Maybe like 20. Okay. Apply. Yeah. So like I said before, I'm in a I just log in. I don't know where I am. This is Linux terminal. You can do everything here. The people are wondering, why will I need something dark screen? Even window that you work on, window system that you work on is like this. It's just to make it entertaining. That's why they give you that GUI. So this is the terminal. I just log in. Let me try some of those commands that I just entered and I just saw. This is ls. And these are the files or folder in that directory, ls, and then present and working directory. Although there are some some Linux system whereby as you log in, it depends on your configuration, it will show you the present working directory, which you can change it. Please, I'd like us to know that we've not actually started in shell scripting, but you need to understand this. And this is a refresher, but I actually thought that you should be seeing some things. We'll see how the practical. So I use the I type in the command ls, and then what is my present working directory? pwd. This is where I am. can see that it's different from window. This is where I am. And then let me just use the command and cat. I need to use it on a file. Okay, let me use it on this one. Please also notice that if you've never used it before, just for your information, there is something called tab completion. You'll be wondering, okay, how far, why is it like once I just type ST or something, just press tab. It will give you whatever is close to whatever you're trying to type. You understand? Just press tab. You can see now. I can see the beginning using cat. I can see the beginning using cat. Although this file, you'll be like, what, did it just say certificate file? I can see using cat. This is the content of a file. But if I use more or less, okay, let me think more. See, it has paged it for me. It's showing 20% of the entire content. All I simply need just for me to be pressing space, it will move to the next one. Wait. And then okay, let me just show you the redirectors now. You know, I mentioned something about those symbols, the one that less than, greater than. Let me just quickly delve into it so that we'll see how it works. If I want to write a content, maybe a file that already exists. Okay, let me just say I'll create a file. You can use, if I want to create a file, you can use Touch. I can use editors like Vim, VI. Those are the kind of editors, or Nano. Some people prefer Nano. Let me use, okay, let me just say echo. Now, I just wrote if you look at this command, although later I will still talk about it later, you always see this command echo something. All I simply did is, okay, echo means something like write. Write Ola Tunde into Ola. So Ola suggests to you that it's a file. You know, I didn't even create anything, but automatically it will create it for me. Ola is not there. And if Ola is there, it will overwrite it. Do you all understand? The whole essence is to show you this arrow. I could have just done, okay, first I can use touch, Ola. Then later I can now, okay, write some content into it. Do you understand? So this is just, I'm redirecting this content into this thing. Now, if I do the same thing, oh, okay, wait, let me just show you the content first, for you to be sure that it actually contains Ola Tunde. Yeah. Cards Ola. You can see, this is what it contains. Now, if I write the same thing, using that redirector sign, using single one, now, let me check the content. You can see the other one is no longer there. But if I want to append, so that it will not overwrite what exists, they have to use double. You can see that we have two now. Do we all understand? Please, if you ask questions, please let me know so that. Okay. Okay. Now, talking about the other sign. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I want to ask about the extension. We don't need to specify the extension of the file, or that echo is just only for text file.
When it comes to Linux operating system, there's nothing like file association like window. It doesn't matter, you know, I'm not doing something like ola.exe. File is file under Linux. There's nothing like, though I can put file extension. I hope I'm answering your question.
Because we can have in your system, you can have the two different files. You can have a picture or a text file, but they have the same name. So how will you know now you are changing the file if it is a picture or the text file?
Okay, I get the question now. It's still the same thing. You know, any file, you can open it with any application. But the thing is that if I open a file that does not contain video content, if you open it with the VLC, what you will get is different. Even they're still going to open it for you. Do you understand? You understand? Now, if I now take something like Adobe something to open MP3 or MP4, it will still open it. But it won't play or it won't stream the video. Do you understand? But now on this Linux that I'm talking about, this one doesn't have any file association, no extension. But you can give it extension just for readability. You understand? Yeah, I can create a script now and say something.sh. Mere looking at the file, okay, this file contains maybe bash script. You understand? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't even need that extension. Do you understand? It doesn't need it like window. You know, window you see .pdf, .exe, all that. But on this one, it doesn't need it. Everything is file. I hope you understand. Okay. So now, using the other redirector symbol, which is less than. If I use something like this, that means I'm getting input from this. I'm now feeding it into this. That is what it means. I'm getting input for whatever I put here. I'm feeding it into what? Into this. You know, simply, I can just type cat ola, but the only other way I can do cat ola, if I do it like this, I will put ola here. You understand? I will put ola here and feed it into what? Into this cat command. Do you understand? Let me just. Can you see that it still works? Can you see that it still works? Now, cat. I just want to write a simple script. So I want somebody to give me a name. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Please notice that though I wrote not usual thank you. I wrote thank you .sh. This sh does not matter. You understand? But just for readability, that this is a shell script. You understand? That's why I put sh there. Now, all I simply want to do, you even notice that this file does not even exist. It doesn't exist. But it's going to create it right away. Then it's going to open a terminal for me. Although it's in the presentation, but I prefer to stay here so that you can understand instead of going back to the presentation. I might have to jump so many pages there. So if I do this now, it will open a terminal for me where I can type some command. You will see I can write my own shell script. If I press enter, now it's asking me, okay, it's like I have a page now. Write your script or a command. And essentially I told you that shell script is like command. You put several commands together. You understand? Let me do, like what can I, okay, let's just do ls -li lih. And then if I want to close something like this, if I open a file to write a script like this, when I'm done, I have to use Ctrl D to close it. But on your, if you have Linux environment like Ubuntu, you can use gedit. It's like Notepad on Microsoft. You can use that one too to write it. But most of the time, we are talking about cloud stuff. This is what you always have. Most of the time, this is what you will always have. You won't see that entertaining environment. You won't see it. And the reason why they make it so is because it's bandwidth efficient. It doesn't consume bandwidth. So I've written just a command, and the command I wrote is ls. It should list a file for me. And then there are other options that I added to it, not just ls. I want to see information about the size too. Do you understand? That's the command in the file. So Control D. Now we want to check if the file is there. Okay. You can put so many, but for you to exit,
how do you not terminate it?
Control D. Okay. And we'll soon get to that aspect. So for me to run this, this is script. Now let me check if it's there. ls. Okay, yeah, it's there. This is it. Now there's something about permission. This is not going to run if you don't give it permission to run. It's not going to run. But there is a way in which it can run, but it can only work within your environment as the person who logs in. You see that I change the permission for you to be executable. If I check the permission now, does anyone have to check the permission of this file? ls -l. See now. Thank you as what? Read write. That's the owner. Read write. That's the group. Read only. That's the order. Read write. There's nothing like X there. Can you see? So this thing will not execute. But there's a way I can make it execute. But let me just follow standard format. I can change the permission. I will add it to it. I've listed the permission for you before. What command is it for me to change the permission of this file? Yeah, chmod. I can use chmod plus X. For me. The owner. There's a way I can add permission for other people too. I can use number 777. If I use 777, that means everybody. Okay, can I quickly go to that 77? Now look at this command. This one right there. This is supposed to be RWX, RWX, RWX. If you are to convert this one to number, if you have to convert this one to number, this one is 421, 421, 421. So if I'm giving this guy permission now, can somebody interpret this line for me? What's the number? That would be 6, 4, 4. And if I want to make it executable using number for group, let me say for group, it's going to be 6 what? 6, 6, no, okay. 6, yeah, you're right. 6, 7, 4. Do we understand? It's going to be 6, 7, 4. So there are so many ways you can change, but for me alone, although there's a way you can use, I can indicate group too. But I'm just putting, okay, change the mode, make it executable. So let's check the command. Now that I've added this, let me run this command again. Which one? This. See what we have now. We have read, write X, read, write X, and then X. Although I made some mistake. I'm not this much. I don't want others to have. I don't want this one to have executable right. So this is X, X. It's supposed to be 6, 6, 7. Okay, this is 7, 7, 1. 7, 7, 1. Eh? This is 7. This is 7. Okay, yeah. 7, 7, 5. 7, 7, 5. Let me change it to 7 anything. Let's see what it's going to display. CH mode 7, 7, 0. So can you see now? 7, 7, 0. 0. Eh? Others can't even see. They can. But there are so many ways you can they will see it as file, but you can't read the content. It's different from when you hide a file under Linux system. If you need to hide a file, you put dot. At the instant of creation, you put dot before the name. That's when it becomes hidden. But this one, you are going to see it, but you can't do anything. Do you understand? You can even see the color, that the color is completely different. Although that depends on your setting. You can change your color to be maybe red or yellow. Do we understand? Now, let's just run let's run the script now. Okay. Okay.
Maybe ask questions.
Okay.
The number you were writing, does everybody understand what those numbers stand for? Okay. I thought as much.
Please, can I get a pencil?
So please, you know,
I want to put it here. So
the read stand for 4, the write stand for 2, then the hex stand for 1.
1, yeah.
Exactly. That's how you got the 7, 7. And you have the owner, you have the group, you have others. Those are the 3 groups. Okay. So if you want to give permissions, you can use the numbers to give the permissions. So I think, please, don't assume that everybody is. I think you can just try to break that so that we are trying to carry everybody along. Thank you.
So do we have any questions? Okay.
Yeah, since we have established that the CH mode is to change permission of a file.
Yeah.
So who can change that permission? Is it limited to the owner alone, or anybody can just come and change permission?
No. Once you log in, there are things that you have access to. You understand? I'm still within my, what's it called? This is my environment. You know, we said Linux is multi-user environment. If I did not give you permission, there's no way you can even open my file, even though you log into the same system. Even though you log into the same system. Probably you are used to the experience whereby you have multiple people hosting an application on the same server. On the same server. But yeah, how come that I'm not seeing your file? You are not even seeing my file. Do you understand now? So this is my environment. That's why when I started, I do PWD, present working directory. I can create anything. I have permission to create. I have permission to delete. But there's some things that I cannot delete outside my home. I log in as Ubuntu. That's my name. And the group that I belong to is what it's called. So people that are in your group, that's why these things matters now. This is me. This is the group that I belong to. If somebody else, by administrator, you change it to be part of my group member, they can do the same thing, depending on the privilege I've given them. Do you understand? You can see that the permission here, okay, I say, for my group too, they should be able to read, write, and execute. Do we understand? So back to the number. Let me say, okay, read. Ah, this. Read, write, and then execute. There's another one here, but I'm not going to talk about it now. D. There's another one I'm not going to talk about. You will notice it here. Yeah, this dash here. Okay, directory, yeah. I don't want to go to that one now. But for this one, this only signifies that it's a directory. Do you understand? Only signifies that this is a directory. Now, for you to change a permission, the number for read is like many of us you know about this binary. This is 0, 0, 0. It depends on the number of bits that you turn on. Do we understand? So if I turn this one on, if I ask you what is the total number now? 101. That will be correct. Because this will be 401, which is equal to what? 5. But when it comes to user and group, you will still have another category where you have user, group, and other. Do you understand? This one applies to this one. This one also can use this one, and the other can also use the same configuration. Do you understand? That's how you determine for everybody. Let me just ask somebody, if I have this number, I will request that please you should come and write it here. If I have this number 642, can somebody decode it? I just want to know what they can do, what user can do, what others can do, what the group can do. Okay. Please. No, I want you to break it down like this. Each of them, you break it down. For the first 6. No, David, use slide.
So 106 the binary.
Okay. Read, write. Exactly. Do we understand now? So can we move on? We still want to ask questions so that you can. Okay.
Okay, let's say I'm other user and you give me read permission. So that means, and I want to execute that file. I can't change the permission, but then I have read permission. Can I copy the file to another file? Then I become the owner of that file, and then I give it permission to run. Yes. That's read. Yes.
So if I allow you to read, you can copy it, but you have to execute it in your own environment. Because you might rewrite it to steal my password and everything. That's why it will not allow it in my own environment. So any damage you want to do, go and do it on your own.
Any other question?
Okay. Okay, so let me execute this one now. We've given you permission for you to execute, but I can run this, whatever script I have inside here, without giving it permission. The way out is this. If I can just push bash, thank you. I don't have to give it execute permission. Do we understand? I don't have to give it, it will still run. Can you see? No, that's the command inside it. Do we understand? Although it's still looking like what we type on the terminal, but that's what we put inside. But you will notice that, okay, we have, where is the size? Okay, look at the size. You see that it's different from the one we'll be typing at the terminal. It's giving us in human readable format. Can you see K, K, K? In the other one that we've been doing a C. This is just byte. You are the one that will do the conversion yourself. Do you understand? Just to prove something, just to prove, let me change it so that you can. Now, you know, I wrote the script using this cat. What if I now want to edit it? That's why you can use gedit, Vim, and Nano. There are so many. But if this is what you have, you don't have any GUI. You can use more than Nano, you can use more than Vim, and you can use more than, I think, an Emac. Although there's some system whereby you can log in remotely with whatever application. If you are not comfortable working around there and you still need to edit this file, like I think Pro FTPD, that one can connect via, I think, secure channel, not normal FTP. Do we understand? So let me just edit this. Vim. This is the command we wrote there. So let me add other stuff to it. I can say echo. Today's date is, let me open the script. I remove what was there before so that you can see that it is the script that's actually executing, not something else. I said echo. You know, I told you echo is like what? Print, exactly. Print or write. Print, today's date is. The reason why I put this thing is called a backtick or backquote. If I do not put this will not be interpreted as a command. It will just be mere date. Do you understand? It will just be today's date is date. Do you understand? But there's a command called date. And for you to see it as a command, that is why I have to put this. Do we understand? Alternatively, let me put another one. You can still do it like this. See what I've added. Oh, something is missing. This and this, they are the same. I don't know when this was introduced, but somebody felt like we want something readable. You understand? Instead of doing it like this, why not like this? Eh? Okay. Okay. $, bracket, date. So it doesn't make any change. This one is not even working. But the thing is, $, bracket, date, and then you close it. It's still the same. So it depends on what you want, the one you want to use, but I'll prefer this type. Because I can put so many commands inside here. Do you understand? Like I can do, okay, and echoes today's date. I can also put list files for me inside here. I'm executing a script. Then I still have another command inside the script. Okay. Eh? Mm-hmm. It's a command. Yes. Most is in the, I will explain it to you. Maybe when we get to command line processing. Because the essence of the script is for you to take a command. You understand? But now I'm kind of concatenating. You know, when you say you had something together, I'm not using anything like, you know, something about, if you had something about data types, string, integer, float, all that. So this thing doesn't know whether today's day is also a command too. Do you understand? All of them can be command. All of them. But no, if I put echo, the next thing it's expecting is option and what to echo. That's why it's able to interpret it. Okay.
With echo, we're starting with today.
Mm-hmm.
Will bash see today as a command?
If you remove the echo, you won't get nothing.
Okay. Then
you won't get
okay,
nothing.
if I want echo to be part of my result, I want echo as a string literal.
Echo as?
Yeah, I understand that echo is a library, but now probably in what I'm printing, what I'm printing out is echo.
What echo is part of
what I'm printing? Yes.
Okay, and let me add echo to it. See where I added echo. So let's execute it and see what comes out. Can you see now? You see, seen it as echo. Eh? Anywhere, it will still always be echo. Because echo is a command. When you issue a command, what are the options available to a command? Do you understand? Echo is a command. So whatever is left at the front, those are the things you're supposed to do. Those are the things you're supposed to print. Do you understand? But now, so as not to interpret date as date, that's why we have to put quotes. Okay, look, let this thing, when this one is done with interpretation, then print it. Do we understand now? When it's done interpreting that one, then print it along. Okay. But echo, look at the echo here now. Echo is there now. You want echo to show, and echo is there. Any other question? Okay. You know, UTC is something like a universal time something. It's from the date. Universal time something. It's from the date. So is there any more question before we go? Okay, let me show you how to execute. You know, I've only used bash. I've only used bash to execute my this script. You can also, there's something called I wish I can write. It's called shebang. If you are going to run a script, you can add an interpreter so that I don't have to say it's bash. Do you understand? You know there are many shells. You can decide the interpreter inside the script. Do we understand? But now, you know, I use I think I use bash for this one. But you can add it inside the script. I'm looking for this pound sign. I can't find it. Oh. Is it? No? Ah, no. Pound, no. No. Here is what I want to show you. This sign. And then this, then followed by bin, followed by bash. That's what I'm trying to do there. Oh, Tabanica changes. Only down. At least the practical time to Bola so. Okay. Please, can we all see this? Can you see this? This is called Shabang. Although I can't, this version of Putti that we're using, I don't know where the, okay. Eh? Okay, yeah, good. Thank you. Okay. Bash. So this become the interpreter now for the please to change the color line. The truth is that this is not my it's just that we can't connect my own laptop. I use Linux. But we are using Putti, and I don't know a number of things with the Putti. I don't know how to change the color. If somebody can. Eh? Bola, can we see try? Maybe the color there. But the thing is that once we change the color, I think it will affect everything. Please, just for now, let's just but what I wrote is this. This is the interpreter now. Some people can use K instead of bash here. You can use KSH. There are so many that you can use, but this is the interpreter that I wrote here now. So I'm not going to execute the script using bash command again. I will just run it like that. Do we understand? So let me save it. Escape. Now, what I first tried is I use, please let's pay attention here. I use the same bash to execute it, even though I've added the interpreter to it. Now, I'm not going to use the bash again. I will just run it on its own. So I'm going to use I'm expecting the question here. Any question here? Exactly. No, it's different. Look at it. If I'm going to execute this script, I have to put dot. Dot signify my current shell. Do we understand? Dot signify my current shell. And now, what is my current shell? If somebody may ask. How do I know my current shell? Because you can log into a system whereby your own shell will be different from mine. Do we understand? We can have many shell environments. Like now, I'm working on something. I need it. And I say, please, can you help me? Help me change this. You are like, look, something is wrong with this system. Nothing is wrong. It's just that you are using different shell environments. Do you understand? That one has been a profile to you when they create accounts for you. What kind of shell do you want to use when you log in? It's already there. Like if I log into this system, if you go to, you're using Linux, etc/profile, you will see information about everybody, group you belong to, the kind of shell you use, what you have access to on that system. You will see all the information there. So you have to use this dot. You say, I'm using current shell to execute this script. Do we understand? But this thing will never run. This dot will never run if you have not changed the permission. Using the other bash command, that one does not need for me to change the permission of the file to be able to execute. Do we understand? But for this one to execute, okay, let's change it now. Let's change the file so that it will not have permission to execute. So it will be chmod what? Yes. Chmod what? Give me the number. 6. Yeah. 666. So ch 666. So we've changed the permission. Let's check if it's applied. Okay, so it's 666 now. So let's run the script. What do we have? It cannot execute. Permission denied. But now let's go to bash. Let's see whether it will work. Can you see? Do we all see that now? And I hope we understand. Yes, yes. No. It's like it's kind of isolated container. Where I am, it will only work for me. It will work for me, even though I don't have to give it permission to execute. But just because I'm testing something. Do you understand? So far that it won't affect anything on that system, it will run. Do we understand? But for it to be able to...
Sorry, so if you need coffee, water, something to keep you awake and alert, please just go downstairs to pick something and then you can join back. Thank you.
Okay, I hope I've answered your... Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes.
For example, now if I write a script in bash,
Okay.
is there going to be any difference in behavior if I'm trying to run that script with other shell?
Well, the thing is just like, why would some people prefer Python? Why would some people prefer JavaScript? We are all doing the same thing. Do you understand? Even though they have the speed at which they execute is different. Like if I was saying Python is interpreted, Java is faster than Python. But why would you prefer Python over Java? You write less lines of code than when you are writing Java. Do you understand? So the same script will still work, but it's based on preference. Look, I like this trouble of lengthy code. Some people just like it that way. Do you understand? There are some like there's this one C shell. That one comes with tab completion. It has tab completion, unlike the bash. Like I should keep typing, it will be suggesting several things for you. But bash will not do that. Do you understand? But bash is the default for most Linux systems. Do we understand? I hope I've answered your question. Hello? I hope I've answered your question. Please, let's look at this. So that you can understand what I'm talking about, having a different shell environment. Some people will log into a system. This is necessary for if you are going to write, you are working in an environment where you don't understand. You are going to have a problem writing a shell script. You have to know so many things. You have to know what is available that you can use to write script. Now, like I said, look at the, I'm not supposed to open this, but of course you can't see any password. It's already encrypted. This is where most people that log into this system, this is where what you do, most of your profile information, this is where they are. Every Linux system, go and check etc/password. Oh, you are surprised, but your no password there. You can't see the password. Look at it now. You have my SQL. Look at the, this guy can execute. And this number, I think this is the ID. I think, I don't know, maybe this group ID. And then something's supposed to be here. Look at this. This is the bash for MySQL. As soon as MySQL, if you use the account on MySQL to log in, because even a service that is running on Linux system is seen as a user. Do you understand? The moment you log in, it says what? False. That means there's no default bash for this guy. Do you understand? If I remove it, it doesn't change anything because it's already false. Do you understand? Look at the next one. Okay, this one no logging. This one cannot log in. Where's Ubuntu? Okay, see. What's the default bash? Bin bash. You can determine that one by using this command. When you are creating a user, okay, user had, you can add, okay, this is the home directory, this is the default bash. You can determine all that. Do we understand? If I change this one, if I move this thing to false now, if I log in, if I change this to, if I log in again, you won't see anything. If I press tab, it will not respond because there's no shell. Do we understand? So this is where mostly, like for most administrators, if you log in here, if you notice something unusual, you might see some account like, oh look, I didn't create this, I didn't create this. Woo! This is where you find out where Aka is operating. They always come here, they need a permission. Several things will be happening here. At times, like, for instance, somebody can create something like a root account around there and make it like R00T. You think it's the real root. It's not the real root. So any question about that again? I hope I've answered your question. For you to understand that you can have many shells, but I can still change it while I log in. Do you understand? You say, okay, I don't like my default shell. You can change it on your own. Okay. Sure. So, Bola, if I want to switch back. Yes, I have 3 minutes left. Okay. So I think I've shown you a few things about this. Then the next thing is called pipe. Pipe is like you pass and you connect the output of one program to the input of another program without any temporary file. This is the sign, symbol for pipe. Like now I can say, maybe I want to filter something. Okay, now list a file for me, get a particular file that starts with this also name. Do you understand? I will say first a list, whatever the output is of the list, pass it to this, the next one. You can have as many pipe as you want. Pipe is like a filter. Do we all understand? You do this something, when output is coming, you pass it to another filter. You can create as many as you want. But look at it now, you know, I've shown you how to use more before. Instead of doing LS, instead of using more, I can first do LS. Whatever comes, if it's bigger than the size of the screen, do you understand? Give it to more to handle. Do you understand? Give it to more to handle. Then I can still put another one and say, okay, look, only output the content that contains so something in a line. Most of you will, if you use grep. G-R-E-P. You can pass it to grep. Okay, look, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for this. I don't want to go back to terminal. I hope I'll be able to do that in the next. Now, a filter, it performs some kind of process on the input and gives output. This command is called tail. It's similar to cat and more. But I can say, okay, I'm using tail. I want first 20. First 20 of this is a log.txt, whatever it contains. I want line, go to number line 20 to line number 30. And then I'll put it to what? This is a file. Do you understand? You know this symbol now. I'm writing everything. When it's done, I'm writing everything into log list. Share programming. So we just got our so share programming variables in Linux. You have system variables, and you also have user-defined variables. For instance, if I do echo username, echo home, but I think I still have to get back to terminal to show you system variables and user-defined variables. But if you have Windows operating system, you know system variable, I think they use, is it not set? If you open Microsoft and that prompt, if you type set, it will show you all the environment variables. I don't know if anybody has done that before. Like you're working on an application, it will tell you, look, this environment variable is not set. That's the reason why the application is not working. So you have to open system settings, go and do it at the back. But you can also use that environment, that's DOS environment, to change it. I type this command env. As a user on a Linux system, you have access to env. If you type the env, it's going to show you all the environment variable. Look at it now. What do we have here? User is what? Me. Do you understand? I don't know what this is. This one means to some other programs. Okay, path. Okay, this is path. You must have seen that one in Microsoft too. Like if I type a command now, if it's not here, that's why I can actually type something like echo or something. If it's not included in this path, it will never work. SSH connect. Okay, now let's reduce. Can somebody suggest to me if I want to reduce this? No, it's bigger than the screen. What do I do? So that we can see more. You can use less, you can use more. But let's use more. But how do we use more? No, it won't work. You have to use pipe. A command to a command. You can't just do more on a command. You have to use pipe. I'm sending the output of one command to another command. Do we understand? So if I say env, and then where is the pipe now? Okay, I've seen it. You now say more. Can we see it? I'm taking the output of this, sending it to this. You can still put another pipe again. You can continue until you get what you want. Do we understand? So please look at it this way. Everything you do on a line like this is a script on its own. You're already writing script. But people don't know because we just a command. No, because okay, it's doing two things for me now. Is it not a script? This is env, and then when it's done with this one, it should do this. So all this, that's why you need to learn as many commands as you can when you're writing script. You will not be able to write script if you don't understand those commands. So, yeah. You know, we didn't see all this before. So we are, look at it now. What shell are we using? That's been me. That's my shell. So assuming you are given the privilege, if you log in, you will see your own shell too. So assuming that you've written an application, all these things are there for you to use. That's why they call them system variables. Do you understand? They call them system variables. What other thing do I have? Can you see? What is this? It tells that the moment that I log in, this is my present working directory. And then log name, Ubuntu. Then my what? These are just list of what? Environment variable. Assuming that, okay, I want to save them, what do I do? Can somebody tell me? Okay, I don't want to be checking this every time. Why must I be checking all this every time? Exactly. I want to save it to a file. All I simply do is, let me just scroll so that we can see the rest. Okay, I think it has 2 pages. Okay, yeah, that's all. So let me just, I'll do the same command again. Now, I'll now save everything to a file. What do I use? Forward. Yeah. Then give it a name. Yeah. And it's going to. Yes. Environmental variables can contain both system variables and user-defined variables. Do you understand? Variable is there, defined by system. And there's another one defined by you. Do you understand? So that I generally use the word environmental variables. Your own environment, which you are. It's not everybody that's going to have access to everything. If I log in as a root on this system, all these environmental variables will be different. So that you won't do something that will be able to impact the system negatively. Do you understand? But those are the things that you have now. If you are writing an application, something is happening, come and check here. What do I have access to? It will tell you at time, go and, like most Java application, it's going to tell you, set this variable, set this variable, set this variable. And that's what shell script does for most applications. You don't know that. Even on Linux, when you are installing an application, they use shell script to do the installation. It will configure all this, move what is supposed to do in another folder, to move it, create an environmental variable. It will do all that for you. So I'm saving everything to, what name should I call it? Let me okay, variables. Variables. So how do I check it now? To be sure that we have the... You know, if it's already there now, I've saved it. I want to see it. I can use cat or more. Let me just use more. Or let me just use tail. Variables. Can you see that it's already there? So I don't have to keep coming and be checking and checking. But the thing is that it can change while you maintain this one. But now, how do I see each of them? This is where shells begin. Shell programming begin. How do I create a variable? How do I extract the content of a variable? Now, let's first go to this variable made available for us. But you'll see that the standard is using uppercase letter. Do you understand? But it is advised that when you create your own, use lowercase. Even though you use uppercase, it will still work. So that you don't get things mixed up. Do we understand? So that you will know, okay, this one is created by the system. Because you won't know, I can equally create something like this. Nobody will know. That's why in all these programs, software firm, they always follow standard. They always follow standard. So that when the guy is no longer there, other people can know what to do. Even though if you do it your own way, it will still work. Do you understand? So if I want to pick now, I want to check, okay, and user. What is stored inside user is what? Ubuntu. But how do I check on this line? You have to use $sign. If you want to access any variable, you have to use $sign and the name of that variable. When you want to store, you don't use $sign. But the moment it becomes variable, you have to use $sign. So if I say, okay, let me ask, if I want to, now I know how to get a variable. How do I push out the content of that variable? Or there's a word I don't want to use. I don't want you people to know. No? There's a word I don't want him to know. You have a variable. I want to read the content of that variable. Okay. I can use cat. No, you have I know the variable now. No. What I'm saying is that. Okay. What I'm saying is that, okay, I have this variable now. It's called, before you can call it variable, you have to pull, you assign a value. But for me now to use that variable, every time I want to get the content of that variable, I have to call $sign and the name of that variable. But now, what command do I use to read the content of that variable? Now, if I mention print, I know what it will say. Echo, oh, sorry. And echo $user. Can you see? Do we understand now? This is what is stored in that system. If I say, okay, who is the user? This is a variable. Do you understand? But now, this is system variable. Now, let me create my own variable. We'll soon go to a place where we can have we'll use Vim and gedit, where you can write several lines of code. Maybe that one will make sense because to somebody like we are just using line to write code, but it doesn't know that you can equally do the same using this line to do the same thing. So I would say my name equals to Ajadi. So what is the variable here? No. My name is the variable. What have I stored inside it? Ajadi. But if I want to get the content of this, my name. Exactly. Can you see now? We have an Ajadi, echo dollar. But if you now want to make, assuming you are working with a group of people, whereby you will create a variable, and you also want them to have access to it. You understand? You also want them to have access to it. There's a command called export. I will export the variable so that it becomes available to some set of people. That's how we create system variable. Because if it's just for you, you don't need to make a system-wide variable. Do you understand? If it's just for you, you don't need to, or there are times maybe you keep typing some command. You have this repetitive task. Every time you have to type this command to check something, type this command to check something. Then why don't you store inside the variable so that you now use a shorter name? Do you understand? Now let's use one for example. Although in Linux it's called alias. Alias, if you even the all these ls, you might be surprised that it's an alias. That's not the full meaning. That's not the full command of ls. But if it's your system, you feel like, oh, this is what I keep doing every time. This is what I keep doing every time. Can I make it shorter? Instead of doing ls-lih, I can just make it. I say m every time I type m, that should be executed. Do we understand? You can say. My command is equals to ls dash lih. Oh. Let me ask you a question now. Do you think it's right for me to use cat on this? Can anyone answer the question? I can't because this is a variable. Do you understand? This is a variable. I can't say cat my command. It's only echo that can print out the content of any variable. Echo dollar. See what it did for me. Can you see what I stored inside this one? So instead of every time, I don't want to break it. The moment I log in, assuming you can even have longer command than this. It can be very, very, very long. But why do I have to keep doing this every time? So I will just create a variable, store it inside it. Do you understand? So every time I just say, okay, echo, although for now somebody might say, but the variable name is shorter than the, no, it's longer than the. I'm just saying, for instance, you might have, if you want me to change it, I will change it, okay, to my, just to be sure that it's shorter than this one. ls is a command. These are options, other options with ls. Like human readable format. If this one will show the size of the file in human readable form. And then I think well, I don't know, it's not everything I know. But I'm just used to type. Anytime I use ls, I always use it along. Yes. But well, you know, I put this back to execute the command. To execute the command. If I do not do it like this, there's no way. That means I have to use a double quote to store this as variable inside my command. But before it can store this thing inside this guy, it should execute this. If I use double quote now, what if I do this? Let me change it again. Okay. 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 Okay.
To bring it like
Okay.
page by page.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know. Is it?
And when it comes to this, there's there's something called debugging. You will never have a system whereby everything is just perfect. You are the one trying to do, what's it called, automate stuff. Do you understand? You are the one, they will only give you tools for you to practice with and see what works for you. They don't know I'm going to use it like this. Do you understand? So it's not left for me to fix this, but I can't fix this now. Do you understand? Possibly, maybe there's an option I'm supposed to attach to this list so that it can also format it for me before it print it. Do we understand? So it's only left for you. They will give you so many tools. You are the one that will come up with it. Why is it like this? Like now, for instance, there's this command called print f. If I want it to show color, it's left for me to put color. If I want it to format in a way whereby, okay, this becomes my delimiter. Every time it sees this, it should show carriage return. Do we understand? So it's left to you. So now I have to go and sit down somewhere and find, okay, why is it not well printed? I'll have to figure that one out. Do you understand? Okay, I wanted to do something before. Okay, change the use double quotes. Look at this now. This is different from this. You know the reason why? This one will just be seen as ls. This is what you are going to see inside. It's not going to execute anything. But the reason why I have to put double quote because of this space. Do we understand? If there's no space, I don't need to put double quote. I can easily assign this one into this. It's a string. So if I store this thing down and say, okay, echo this, this is what you are getting. You are not getting all this. Now, and echo. Can you see the difference now? The command is not executing anything. It only returns back to me. Okay, you can see it. I'm seeing it here, but I don't know what happened. But okay, it's there now. Okay. Okay, see now. You return it back to me the same way. So this is just how to just create a variable. I think we should stop for now. Eh? I'll make it available. Let's just for now stop here. This is just how to create. We'll later get into how to use all this loop and if else, while loop, and case statement, and at least you're able to create a long script to be able to. I will just call it automating stuff. You can use it to automate anything. Probably maybe you want to log into most hackers. What they do is they write script. They write shell script. Assuming you ask your hosting company to provide you a server in the cloud for you to host your application, the moment it come alive, there's a command for you to type. You will see several people that are trying to log in. Somebody will be like, look, my machine just come up. Why are they trying to attack me? It's a script. It's a script that has been waiting for you. They don't even know. The moment you come alive, the script will start attacking your system. It will be trying all manners of password. So that's why script is good. And most hackers, what you do after learning script, they go and read about, if you are using any tool, maybe in your script, they go and read about the bug report. That's what they usually do. That's why it's always good for you to update your system. They can look, they'll find a bug in your system. If you don't know, that's what the hackers will exploit. But yeah, we don't know. What concerns with I'm reading the reports. Although some updates are not good for your system. You don't know, you should just update. If they ask you to recommend it, you need this update, It's not everything you need. But that's what hackers do. They go and read, before they write the shell script, or they don't want to change something, maybe it's not, they've been trying so many things, it's not working. They go and read the bug report and still change their script again. But the moment your server comes alive, it's starting doing what it's told to do. So for today, I don't know when the next session will. Voila. The next.
I think we need to, so that I can complete this session. Can you have this session tomorrow?
Tomorrow, why not? Our own that time said it might not be enough, so that, but you know we're having practical session.
Okay.
So maybe that day of practical
Practical
session,
session can just take.
it will take another 2 hours. We can give him 2 hours.
Okay.
So we come.
You want to check the
I
date?
want to check.
Okay. Okay. Please let's give Engineer Tunde another round of applause. For me, he has just whet the appetite. I'm sure you agree with me. So, so he will come back. He will come back so that he can serve the full menu. So Engineer Tunde, I'm sure you will agree to that. So we'll look for a suitable date for him to. Tomorrow is already fully booked with other trainings. So we'll just look for a suitable date so that I can complete what he has started. So once again, we say thank you, and God bless you. So let's give him.
Once again, thank you very much, Engineer Tunde. Like our prof said, next week Monday will be dedicated to hands-on. Only hands-on that we'll be doing on Monday. So